Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be talking about whether or not it's a good idea to start from a dead stop in second gear. And I've brought some toys along with me to help demonstrate this. We're going to be talking about automatic transmissions, manual transmissions, and dual clutch transmissions. We won't talk about CVTs. Those don't really have gears. You just, drive off and go do your thing. So the logic behind it, why do people say maybe you should start in second gear? Well, perhaps it's that you're starting on an incline and so you want to just be able to be in second gear because the car starts to accelerate immediately. Perhaps you're driving in the snow, you want easier throttle response so you don't spin the tires. Some people say they don't want to wear out first gear. That's kind of silly. That's what first gear is for. You should use it. Some people say that their first gear is just super short, so they just start in second for those reasons. So we're going to get into the individual reasons and talk about the different style transmissions and why you may or may not want to start in second gear. So let's start off talking about manual transmissions. And with manual transmissions, really the only scenario I think that makes sense to start off in second gear is if you're on a downhill slope and you just put it in second gear, and as you start to roll down that slope from a dead stop, you ease off the clutch as the car accelerates going down that hill, and you've got a nice smooth transition into second gear. Inevitably, if you start in first, it's going to be very quick that you shift into second, so no big deal if you're going downhill. It's not really going to put any strain on your clutch, your engine, your transmission, so that seems like a logical scenario to use it. The other hand, people will say, if you want to start in the snow with the manual transmission and you don't want your wheels to spin, you can use second gear because second gear is going to have less torque. It's going to be less likely that you spin those tires, so more likely that you get traction and accelerate off. So we're going to talk about why, this isn't really the best way to approach that. If you have to do it, if you can't find any other way out of it, perhaps give it a try. But it's really better to just, be more careful with your throttle modulation and, just use first gear and just be patient with it. So why is that? So here we've got a flywheel. So we can imagine this is our engine, which is spinning. It's happily spinning. You've got your clutch pressed in, your clutch pedal pressed in. So your clutch is disengaged, and then you've got your clutch, of course, right here. So this is matched to your transmission, whereas this is spinning with your engine. So when you're in second gear, if you're going to start to accelerate off from a dead stop, your engine's happily spinning. It doesn't care. Your transmission's in second gear. It doesn't care at all. But your clutch is what you can make unhappy by being in that second gear. So why is that? Well, let's say your engine is spinning at 1,000 RPM. Your transmission, of course, is geared to your wheels, so it's connected to your wheels. Your wheels aren't spinning. Your vehicle speed is 0. So you've got a disconnection here, which is the clutch, that allows for this to be at speed, and your transmission is not because it's connected to your wheels, which are not moving. Okay, so we want to accelerate that. Now in first gear, if this engine is spinning at 1,000 RPM and we fully engage the clutch and we're moving along at 1,000 RPM, let's say we're at maybe 5 miles per hour. That's a really aggressive gear ratio. And so when the engine is spinning at 1,000 RPM, your vehicle speed only needs to be at 5 miles per hour in order for you to fully engage that clutch. It's not slipping whatsoever against that flywheel. They're both completely engaged, both spinning together. Okay, well in second gear, now your vehicle speed at 1,000 RPM needs to be, let's just say as an example, 10 miles per hour. It's going to be higher than first gear. So now you have to get your vehicle speed all the way up to 10 miles per hour, and you're using your engine and the clutch to do that. So you're modulating your clutch, how much pressure you're allowing it to squeeze this down against the flywheel. Your engine's happily spinning along at 1,000 RPM or whatever RPM you've got it at, perhaps 1,500. And you're pressing it up against it. But you need to bring your vehicle speed up to 10 miles per hour instead of 5 miles per hour now in order to fully engage these. Otherwise, it's slipping. So it's going to be slipping for a longer duration in second gear, and you're going to be putting more wear on that clutch in second gear than if you were to just do it in first gear. So what's the better thing to do? Well, the better thing to do is just be patient and be gentle with it. So, you can let the clutch out a little bit slower than usual if you want. The main thing is really just keeping those engine RPMs really low if you're trying to accelerate on a really slick surface. So keep your engine RPM really low with the throttle and then just slowly ease out of that clutch pedal, perhaps a little bit slower than normal, and that will ease you out. You're not going to spin up those tires, and it's really about foot control rather than using your clutch, rather than sacrificing your clutch for for lack of a better way of saying it, your lack of driving skill. And so, put it in first gear, just be gentle with your inputs, and that's going to be better for your clutch than kind of burning it up in second gear. Now, is it the worst thing in the world to do? No, your clutch can handle a little slipping. It's designed for that. But if you want to do the absolute best thing for it, you'd start in first gear and just be gentle with your inputs when you're accelerating in slippery conditions. Okay, so now let's talk about automatic transmissions. And automatic transmissions are a completely different story because they use a torque converter to transmit power from the engine to the transmission and thus to the wheels. So the engine will have a flex plate, very similar to a flywheel, which will wrap around to this portion of the torque converter, and it will spin this. And as it spins this, this forces fluid to the other side of the torque converter, to which there is a spline in the center, as you can see, and that spline is what's sending power to your transmission. So it's going to have a shaft coming through that. So this is going to be rotating based on the engine's rotating, which is causing a fluid to pass through this and force it to rotate. So it's a fluid coupling. So you don't have a, material like the clutch plate, which is wearing down as those two, that sandwich between your flywheel and your pressure plate, like in a manual transmission. You're using fluid to transmit the energy. And so because of that, sure, your transmission fluid could start to warm up if you're just sitting there and spinning that torque converter, but really it's a fluid coupling, and so you don't have to worry about wear. And so starting in second gear is, perhaps advantageous. In fact, there are companies which do it automatically. If you put it in snow mode, they will start from a stop in second gear. I know, for example, Jeep does this. I know there's plenty of others out there that probably do it, or they, kind of desensitize the throttle pedal so it doesn't give you quite as much power. But torque converters multiply torque. So when you're in first gear and when you're at a dead stop, that's when you're going to have the most amount of torque multiplication through the torque converters. So it's very easy to get those tires to spin up in slippery conditions. So using second gear can help you accelerate more smoothly, not worry about slipping the tires. And in fact, it is a solution that manufacturers use in order to, prevent wheel spin in slippery conditions. So if you're driving an automatic transmission that uses a torque converter, absolutely okay to go ahead and start in second gear in those slippery conditions. Now this, of course, assumes that your automatic transmission will allow for you to choose second gear, but that's generally the case with modern transmissions, modern automatic transmissions. Okay, so what about dual clutch transmissions? Well, perhaps as the name implies, dual clutch transmissions are still using clutches, so you've got a frictional material that you're using to transmit power from the engine to the transmission. So best case, you should just be using first gear to minimize the amount of time that clutch has to slip before it can fully engage up. Now, dual clutch transmissions tend to have multi-plate wet clutches, which means they're bathed in oil, and there's a bunch of different clutch discs. So the wear is going to be significantly less on a wet multi-plate clutch than it would be on a single dry clutch like you typically have in manual transmission vehicles. But generally still, best case, if you're concerned about longevity of that clutch pack, is to start in first gear rather than starting it in second gear. Now, there are actually some dual clutch transmissions out there, for example, in the Acura ILX, that use a torque converter and clutch packs in order to send power to the wheels, in which case, if you're at a dead stop and it's fully engaged, that second gear clutch, no worries, you're again using a fluid coupling to start you moving. But that's rare. Most dual clutch transmissions will not have a torque converter, and they'll simply use slip from a dead stop in order to engage that clutch pack. So hopefully this has been insightful. If you enjoyed watching this, I'll include some links to some other videos about transmission driving techniques if you'd like to check them out. Of course, thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below.